Drive over here now.
It is Fox Across America with Jimmy Failla, man who's headed to Cleveland, Ohio this weekend. That's not an easy gig to get to. I actually put it into the car. My GPS told me to fire my agent. It's like, just pull over on Route 80. You're better than this, Jimmy. I'm kidding. I love Cleveland. Jenny's from Cleveland. I met her when she lived in Parma Heights, Ohio. She was working at the Longhorn Steakhouse in Strongsville, if you're familiar with Route 71. And I was performing at Hilarities. It was December 11, 2003. We are going back all these years later. And I will be performing at the Agora Theater Saturday night, May 31st. Still a couple of tickets left. Shout out to actually Bloom Daddy, my man on WTAM in Cleveland, has been having me on the station to promote it. He's taking me to an Indians game on Saturday. It's the Indians. I'm not calling it the Guardians. A Guardian that's like some you get a letter home from school to the parent or guardian of James Failla. It's not a baseball team. Shut up. I'm grandfathered in. But whatever. I'll be there at whatever Jacobs Field is now. Is it Progressive Field, Mikey? What do they call it? Is Progressive Field? Okay. So we're going to maybe Progressive Field with Bloom Daddy from WTAM, getting day drunk, and then waddling over to the Agora to tell a bunch of jokes about meeting my wife in Cleveland.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life.
No, it's a great way to go through life. It's exactly how I went through the weekend. Had Lincoln driving me around in the Bronco old school. And we're going to talk about that because we have Kennedy coming up in a little bit. They're just trying to pry her out of the Blarney Stone. You know how this works. It's a little outnumbered appearance. Then she goes and has a little bit of Grandpa's cough syrup. And then we got to send somebody over there, Lou, from the lobby with a cattle prod to wake her up on the stool. She's usually drooling, being like, I was on MTV. Oh, Kurt Cobain is... And then they got to pull out the cattle prod and kind of prop her up with they got to put a couple of volts under the armpit like she got caught counting cards in Old Vegas. And then we get her back here. And one thing about her is she'll never come to the studio early. So you got to keep the door unlocked because you don't know when she's going to barrel in. You don't know. You don't know. It's like, when you have like an orangutan on a movie set and you got to hire a wrangler just to make sure it doesn't run off the craft services and tear somebody's face off. That's what it's like to work with Kennedy at Fox. You got to bring a wrangler down to the set, and you got to have him following her around to make sure she doesn't go crazy or ride a mechanical bull in the CNN hospitality tent at the DNC in 2016. Hillary Clinton's getting ready to accept the nomination. Everything's under control. The bodies have been buried. The Epsteins have been hanged. Things are looking up for old Hill. And then somebody puts a mechanical bull in the CNN hospitality tent. Kennedy sneaks past like Pee-wee when he's on the Universal lot trying to get his bicycle back, and he's swinging through a Twisted Sister video, getting chased by Godzilla and the Flying Nun. And she makes her way onto the mechanical bull and gets the bicycle back, and the world's a better place. But you know who's not better off? The chimp wrangler who had to chase her through all of those movie sets and get her off the damn mechanical bull so she can get back onto the TV channel. We'll talk to that guy. We'll talk to Kennedy. Don't go away.
Your voice.
I hope people hear this.
Is America's voice.
Get back to just some basics.
The news and talk of Tampa Bay.
That's all we're talking about.
News Talk 1040.
It's the morning show that overslept. Fox Across America with Jimmy Failla.
Man, you thought flying was intense during the COVID days. Put your mask on. Don't put your mask. You can't board if you're not vaccinated. Tempers were definitely flaring during the COVID era of commercial air travel, but nothing like today where actual presidents are getting punched in the face trying to dismount. There's a woman who has a fantastic column about it in the Daily Mail. And she is here to discuss it now. The K train rolling back into the station. Hey, girl.
Choo choo, Jim.
I click on the Daily Mail today, as Mikey does. Mikey reads the Daily Mail religiously because the porn videos don't upload right away at work. But I actually do it in the morning.
I know, Mikey. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, when I'm actually reading, I'll go over to the Daily Mail. I saw your column and just started laughing because I'm obsessed with this story.
Yeah.
She definitely punched him in the face.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That was not a tickle. That was not horseplay. That was not joking.
Now, and let me one other thing. Okay. And I was sharing this with the audience earlier, and I believe this to be true. If you are the first lady of a country, and you're flying on their equivalent of Air Force One. You're landing in a foreign country. The door is open. They're waiting for you to come out, and you punch the guy in the face.
Yeah.
That is absolutely not the first time you've punched him in the face.
No.
Bazillion % no.
Yeah, and you want the world to know that you double palm, face shoved him arm bar to the point where, he looks like a pretty sturdy guy.
Yeah.
His head snaps back.
Yep.
And then he kind of balls up his fist because he wants to punch her in her little golden girl mouth. But
Yeah. He said
can't do that with the global press waiting for him on the tarmac.
They're all waiting, Macron.
Click, 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 click.
You
click.
can't use words like people kind if you want to punch back when
Yeah.
your wife palms your face.
Yeah.
Setting back French stereotypes a good 200 years about their army. They
Well,
always say
and
they lose.
it was funny because he gave, it's not funny, but he gave a speech in 2017 when he became president talking about France's shame is
Yeah.
domestic violence. And France cannot be a country where women live in fear. And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, the men might live in fear, though.
Yeah, that sounds like the homophobe who heads down to the village at the end of the night and rounds up a couple of sailors and not to beat them up.
No. Just to teach him a lesson about
I'll
how
show
you
them.
really kiss another man.
I'll show them. I'll show you. I'm going to take you dancing.
Yeah.
You don't have to take this.
But Brigitte's mad about something.
Yo.
And one can only imagine what that is. One can only imagine what makes a woman so mad. But, I also wrote that maybe that was the dynamic. Maybe that's what made these two frogs feel so sexy, was the master and servant, and he is her naughty pupil. And he also has mommy issues.
Mommy issues. She was a teacher with 3 kids at the time. He was
And a husband.
attending the school.
Yes.
Were you there?
He was
Yeah.
also a classmate of one of her children.
Really?
Her daughter, Laurence.
We're talking about Brigitte Macron, heretofore to be referenced as Jill Belichick, based on the age differential.
That's really funny.
She's 73, he's 47. So it's right, or 72 and 47.
Yeah,
so right
so
there in that
24-year
25-year intro. And that was probably the power dynamic.
Yes.
Is, he'd turn in his homework late and get spanked. Because you see it on a guy like that.
Yeah.
He walks around with a little shame like he knows what he's doing. Don't you see it on his face a little bit?
But she was the creeper.
Yeah,
she
big
was
time.
the groomer, the predator.
No question.
And so, but what's really interesting is, a lot of French Gen Zers are now looking at this going, oh, that's how they met?
Yeah.
Because they know, younger people today have been conditioned that those relationships are inappropriate. And that's why you're seeing so many female teachers get busted for sexual assault, because they're propositioning their young, impressionable students. And, when the Mary Kay Letourneau scandal broke in the 90s, even Bill Maher, there's a very famous clip. I was on Bill Maher's Politically Incorrect, and I'm like, this is gross. And he was like, there's no such thing as a woman raping a man. And it's like, there's something
there
really
kinda
disgusting
is
about
at a
that. But
weird
now
age, yeah.
it's like kids know that that's wrong. They are vulnerable. They're vulnerable to predators. Grooming is a very real thing. And there are young French people going, that's actually kind of gross.
Yeah,
our norms have changed.
Well, it's true because no one talks about that dynamic with them. It took this type of beating to bring attention to it.
Yeah.
'Cause
And
it's
obviously something is going on there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And for him to try and downplay it like that, it's like, oh, are you an abused spouse?
Yeah, exactly. We were horsing around.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Is that the kind of thing that Cassie said when she would show up with
The Diddy party?
a black lip and a cut on her leg and have to have plastic surgery over her eyebrow in order to go on TV the next day?
If you're following Kennedy's in studio, P. Diddy apparently went to Kid Cudi's house and blew up his car.
After promising Cassie that he was going to do that.
Yeah.
Because Diddy and Cassie had an on-again, off-again relationship. And when they were off, Kid Cudi is cute.
Yeah.
And Cassie's beautiful. And Diddy is terrifying and a perv with a Tootsie Roll. So Cassie and Kid Cudi were seeing each other. And Diddy told her, allegedly, I'm going to kill you both and I'm going to blow up his car.
Mm-hmm.
And made good on part of that promise.
Went 1 for 2.
Yeah.
And I do believe he locked the dog in the bathroom. I read that.
Oh.
I know, and people get upset about that, but my dog would just drink the toilet. A little woofing.
Yeah.
Bixby'd have a sip and probably just chill out.
Yeah.
But I'm not happy. But we are talking about
See, Lemmy would just find a way to eat underwear
Yeah,
and then pass out on a towel.
couple of socks. He eats something he shouldn't. What's this? A cap of an Ajax bottle? I think I'll digest this.
Is this a Preparation H suppository?
Love to eat this and go to the vet and cost you $3,500. Something about it. No conversation about abuse would be complete without Our Lady Jill Biden. So circle back to her for a minute for me. My theory is now concrete. Okay, everything in the Jake Tapper book is not a revelation to people who are reporting this honestly the last 4 years. But me and you have kind of gone back and forth on, and I know you've written about this too. I think she felt entitled to be first lady.
Yes.
After a lot of years of being a bridesmaid in Washington.
She watched everyone around her grift illegally, and she was like, I'm staying the straight and narrow. Yeah. And, she was like Mitch McConnell, who wouldn't allow a vote on Merrick Garland.
Yeah.
And, really bet the farm that Trump was going to be president when everyone said it's not going to happen.
Yep.
She did the same thing with her husband. And she's like, and if he becomes president, I'm getting all the stuff and I'm running the show.
Yep. And he's never leaving. They're like, what if he has prostate? Nope. What if he has dementia? Even better. And that was honestly the appeal. Everything. Now, when we were saying this 2 years ago, 4 years ago, that it was a degree of speculation. Because it appeared that way in plain sight, but you don't know until you know. And we do now know.
Yes.
And
remember she was running the cabinet meeting?
Yeah. How about that? And they said it was, because she's been outspoken on so many of these issues. I'm like, wait, she's running the cabinet meeting. There was that. And there was one other thing that really jumped out at me about this. And this is where, everyone still isn't bargaining in good faith. Is everybody who is now sitting down with Jake Tapper and go, hey, it was nuts. We should have known. They are agreeing, in principle that he was nuts. Okay. So if we had agreed on that, where is the outcry for everything he signed, everything he auto-penned, and every pardon that was probably sold?
Yeah.
Like if you're Jake Tapper and you mean it, like we got to get to the bottom of this thing. Why have we stopped digging?
Yeah. And are you still doing reporting on the prostate cancer? Yeah. And are you have those leads run cold? I don't believe they have. If you really are doing the work of a journalist, and Jake Tapper is a Washington insider. You're telling me that all the people who knew, the hundreds of people who were on and off the record, anonymous sources, and just angry people who decided to be named in the book because they're so frustrated by what happened, those people weren't talking?
Yeah.
And then, one of the hosts on Pod Saves America was like, I just wanted him to effing win.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it wasn't him.
I know.
And, it was all the people around him committing elder abuse and propping him up for their own benefit.
100%. We're talking to Kennedy. The best part of the Pod Save America clip is he goes, because I love my country. This is what happened. They, to justify every type of unprecedented, depraved attack on Trump, they manufactured a hysteria. For whatever we think of Trump, and he could be crass and pugnacious and wildly erratic, okay, they decided this was, some type of a Hitler moment and an existential threat to the Republic. Ergo, they were justified in whatever approach they took to stopping them. And that's what they're doing now to sell this as justification. And what's so funny about the Pod Save America clip is he goes, even if he wasn't the Joe Biden, I wanted him to win because I love my country. But if you love your country, you don't go, hey, if you love your car, you don't go, hey, dementia guy, take it for a spin around the block. Yeah. But that's what he did.
Well, but you think about things like being overweight. You can take Ozempic. Yeah. You can get gastric bypass. You can go on a keto diet. You can get a nutritionist and lift heavy weights and do cardio, and you can lose weight. If you have a mental illness, you can take psychiatric drugs. You can go to therapy. You can go take psychedelics in Peru. You can do all sorts of things and heal your mental illness. You cannot unage. That is one of the things you cannot do. So looking at this, he was never going to go to fat camp. He was never going to go to dementia camp. It was only going to get worse. How much worse were they going to let it get? Knowing that Kamala was incapable of running the country, we know that because voters who were very much on the fence voted against her because they knew she couldn't run the country.
That's what's so fascinating about it. We're talking to Kennedy. If you remember in June of 24, before Biden was forced off the ticket, one of the hottest stories in media was, will they force Kamala off the ticket because they thought she was a drag? And that was something that was bandied about a lot in media. And they famously asked Nancy Pelosi, is she the right person to be VP? And Pelosi famously said, well, he thinks so, and that's all that matters. And you know what that means.
Yeah, it means absolutely not. She completely sucks. But there's nothing we can do about it now because if we take her off the ticket, we are committing every sin that we proselytize against as Democrats.
Yep, which they wouldn't be against doing in other areas, but they couldn't do it when it came to identity politics.
No.
Because they did it in every facet of protecting democracy. But I do believe now, like looking back, and I've read most of the Tapper revelations. I'm not giving them the money. I don't care. There was a promo copy flying around the TV
I'm just
show.
gonna sniff around the
Yeah.
Hannity cubicles and
They got one.
maybe borrow one
Throw
from
you a
there.
football.
I'll give it back. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
I'm always up there because I get the autographed footballs and sell them to my friends. I mean, I autograph them. I'm not going to put them through the trouble. Like, who has a?
I
who
heard
has a
you have an
silver
auto
Sharpie?
pen.
Yeah, I sign Hannity autographs with an auto pen. It says you're a good American. But I'm fascinated by this whole thing because there is this weird dynamic playing out. Macron abuses her husband, known fact. She punched him in the face with the door open on the plane.
Two
Do you
hands.
know what was going on? There was a scene out of Slapshot playing out before
Yeah.
that door opened.
Yep.
She was packing the foil like a Hanson brother,
Do
playing
you
old
think
style
she
hockey.
knew that the door was open and she's like, I'm so mad, like I either can't control myself or good. I want people to finally see what I have to go through every day because of you. And then there was a
The lip
great
reader?
story today. Yeah, about the French lip reader. She called him a loser.
You loser. It's the president. Of
Gross.
the
You
country.
shagged
Shouldn't
someone
care.
who was 25 years older than you.
Gosh.
3 kids, a mom and a wife. You destroyed everything, you loser.
Yeah, well, apparently he owns every copy of Golden Girls Gone Wild.
And
Oh,
then
Macron.
and the dad, Brigitte Macron's original husband, became a total recluse, was so disgusted and ashamed and embarrassed after that scandal happened that he moved away and was never seen in public again.
Is that true?
And they tried to find him in 2017 when Macron was elected, and no one could find him. And the kids would not give up his location. They didn't announce his death until 9 months after he died.
Is that true?
Yeah.
That is crazy. I didn't know that aspect of. Where's
Yeah.
that behind the music? Where's that Fox Nation? We always do like who is?
Yeah.
Who is Brigitte Macron's age appropriate husband?
Oh,
or
that
who was?
Poor bastard.
Yeah, well, that poor guy.
And then, like, to make matters worse, salt in the wound, that petulant, annoying teenager who's porking his wife becomes president of France. I mean, that's just a torture that you have to endure for years.
Yeah, that's why he hid, right? He went out exactly. He went out to the cabin, did man stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a guy the Democrats should have hired to talk to men because he probably became a man after that.
Yeah,
That-
probably like grew one of the Gene Hackman beards.
Well, you don't want to go that route either. It's a long season. Nobody goes undefeated. Just when you think you've steered this ship into smooth waters, here we go again. One more, because we are going to see you on Fox News Saturday night, which is so exciting. I mean, the kids love it. It's a big deal.
It's a win, is what it is.
It's a big win for the American people. Is that what they call it? A big win for the American people. The last one, and then I will let you go. So this whole idea of outreach, it's Pete Buttigieg is trying to do it. They're going to podcasts now. And they're like, well, we're not on podcasts, and that's why we lost. It absolutely positively has nothing to do with media platforms and everything to do with policies.
Yes.
If you took the worst policy in the world and went on every podcast in America, they're not going to vote for you.
No.
So why?
I mean, they're horrible ideas where it's like everything is racist, every man is bad, especially white men.
Yeah.
Why do men hate us?
Yeah.
And it's like, really? You're like, you didn't read your own advertisements? Like, you guys bought the billboards. Men suck.
Yeah, I don't know why this Kill Whitey billboard isn't getting us the traction it did in 2020. I don't get it. And then Pete Buttigieg, he's trying to beat
Let's go
Newsom.
on, call her daddy.
Pete Buttigieg, fresh off 3 months of paternity leave after adopting a baby, which is fine. I mean, get it, take it. I don't
it's
really
lovely.
care. Yeah, why wouldn't it? If you get it, take it. I mean, Jenny had a C-section. I had her out there raking leaves the next day. I'm like, come on, Jenny, I got to drive the taxi. You call yourself a farm girl? Pick up a rake. Come on, Jenny. I'm kidding. But he's trying to get into that space, and Newsom did this thing. It's so fascinating. So Newsom taped some type of vlog yesterday where he's now wearing Jordans with his suit, trying to do that relatable thing.
God.
Like he wears Jordans. We wear Jordans with suits. Like Brian Brenberg wears Jordans with suits, and he's done that his whole life. Pete Hegg said that's fine. But for Newsom, this is a calculated thing.
Everything's calculated.
Right? And it's just so contrived.
Just disgusting, shellacked. And they don't realize, like, no, people actually want authenticity.
Yes.
That's why Democrats like Bernie Sanders, because they respect his game. I mean, he's been a Soviet since the 80s.
Yes, honeymoon there.
Yeah.
And it's true. And they'll never let him be the nominee.
No, that's why they adored the big hand-knitted mittens, the big woolen mittens, and he's sitting there with RBF.
Yeah,
Loved it.
I remember that when he was just hanging out at that inauguration, all bundled up. After second election in a row, the donors jobbed him out of the nomination
He's just
he would
all
have won.
pissy.
I love. he just sat there.
I'm gonna go grudge eat some Ben and Jerry's. Figure out a way to torpedo the party. Here's AOC. You're stuck with her.
I love that they're trying to make her happen now. It's my favorite thing in the world. She's got a shot, man.
Sure.
It ain't gonna be Crockett. Your girl Jasmine Crockett, as much as you donated.
she's angling for it though. She's like, I think I want to be the oversight committee chair. Yeah, that'll probably happen.
She just should be in a Waffle House getting in a fist fight yelling world star because that's her persona. It's not real. It's like everything else. It's inauthentic.
Yeah.
When she first got to Congress, was like, well, the American people.
Well, actually, being a
and now she's like, ain't nobody got time for that. I was with this one dude last night. We're like, whoa, what happened? I'll tell you what happened. A commercial break happened. There.
It's America's #1 radio lunch date.
Get your hands out of my fries.
Fox Across America with Jimmy Failla.
Buy your own damn fries.
You're listening to Fox Across America with Jimmy Failla. Up all night? Catch Red Eye Radio. Overnights, hear news, information, and talk. News Talk 1040 WHBO.
Oh, hot damn. Kennedy sticking around for another segment.
That's stupid. Use your common sense.
I don't know what R. Kelly has against you.
I don't either.
Did you interview him back in the day?
No.
Yeah, he wasn't interested in you for some reason.
Not interested.
You
Nope. I was 20. He's like, too old.
Who brought this old bag in here?
Exactly.
20-year-old. Come on, baby.
Ew.
But we're laughing. We're only 40 seconds out, but we wanted some bonus Kennedy. She was away last week. You
Why
guys
wouldn't
didn't
we?
get any K-Train. This is a woman who saves the world every day in her
Every
podcast.
damn day.
It's honestly like we get you have that heroic bent, but at some point the world has to get its S together, does it not?
Well, it's like I'm trying, but apparently the world and I have a very codependent relationship.
Is that what it is?
I just keep saving it.
That's all it is. The world needs you. It can't quit you, baby. I don't know if that makes you Macron or his wife, but the point is you're inseparable.
In my relationship, I'm the Brigitte. So
It's a very hands-on.
You are the best thing on the radio.